Milky Way Part 1. Hessdalen Valley, the door to the strange. There are places in the world where the sky and earth whisper secrets not meant for humans. Places where every passing wind carries the sound of another world. Hessdalen Valley, hidden among the remote mountains of central Norway, is such a place. A quiet, cold, and gloomy land, where light does not only come from the sun. Here, when night falls, the valley space suddenly turns into a mysterious stage, where strange streaks of light freely dance between the sky and the earth, challenging all explanations of modern science. 1.1. Hessdalen, where nature and mystery meet. Hessdalen is not a famous name in travel books. It does not have majestic structures, nor luxurious resorts. This valley stretches about 12 kilometers long, about 1.5 kilometers wide, nestled between cold mountain ranges, dense pine forests, and quiet icy lakes. The population density is extremely low, only a few hundred people scattered in small farms, old wooden houses covered in white snow in the long winter. The landscape here has a wild, almost primitive beauty. In winter, the ground is covered with a thick layer of snow, reflecting the moonlight into a hazy mirror, making the cold nights surreal. In summer, the mist is as thin as silk spreading across the valley, making the ground and the sky seem to blend together, vaguely divided. In this landscape with almost no signs of modern civilization, one can easily feel as if one has been pulled back to an ancient time or lost in another dimension, where the familiar laws of physics seem to be bent. And it is in this space that strange things have been quietly growing for hundreds of years. 1.2. Ancient legends, when light can tell stories. The indigenous people of Hessdalen, through many generations, have passed down stories about lost lights. According to the story, since ancient times, people have occasionally seen spots of light drifting across the hillsides, sometimes flashing, sometimes drifting silently across the snow-covered fields. Some believe that they are the souls of the deceased, travelers lost in harsh snowstorms, now returning to find their way home. Others whisper of otherworldly beings, sending signals through the lights as mysterious greetings. Folklore records also mention nights when the lights not only appear alone, but also gather in groups, like a stream of fire flowing across the night sky. Some say they hear strange sounds, like whispers, like the sad song of a distant soul, whenever the lights appear. However, for centuries, these phenomena existed only in the treasure trove of stories told around the winter hearth. No one really thought to study or record them systematically, because the outside world had not yet paid attention to a small, remote valley like Hessdalen, until an unprecedented wave of lights exploded in the early 1980s, causing the whole world to turn their heads towards this icy land. 1.3. A land of deep mysteries. What made Hessdalen a hot spot for strange light phenomena? Researchers later discovered that this area has a very different geology compared to other areas. Hessdalen's underground contains a large amount of metal minerals, especially iron, zinc, copper, and sulfur. Some ore bands run through the entire valley like underground veins, hidden under ancient rocks. In addition, this area also has underground water flowing below the surface. Many places are slightly acidic, a perfect condition for strange chemical reactions that few places in the world have. Some hypotheses suggest that it is this strange combination of minerals and underground water that creates natural electrical discharges, the light that ancient people called by many vague names. But can cold chemistry alone explain the magic of the Hessdalen Lights? Or is there something that modern science has yet to touch? 1.4. The silence before the storm of lights. Before the 1980s, the light phenomena of Hessdalen were rarely noticed outside the local community. Only a few strange stories crept into the paranormal journals, and few paid much attention. But then, as if an invisible hand had flicked the curtain of silence, everything changed. Starting in late 1981, the number of lights appearing in Hessdalen suddenly increased, from a few times a year to dozens a week. Strips of light of all colors and shapes, from glowing red spheres to dazzling blue lightning bolts, danced constantly across the icy night sky. Locals are no longer alone in their fireside stories. Travelers, hunters, students, even small expeditions also began to flock to Hessdalen, all eager to see the ghost lights for themselves. And so, the once lonely, icy valley became the center of one of Europe's most famous unexplained phenomena. But what was happening in Hessdalen was far more than anyone could have imagined. It was not simply beautiful lights, but a series of anomalous physical phenomena involving magnetic fields, electromagnetic waves, and even, according to some witnesses, experiences beyond normal perception. Once again, the question echoed in the night. What is Hessdalen hiding? Milky Way Part 2. First Encounters, the wave of the 1980s. There are moments in history when the line between reality and fantasy, between science and magic, suddenly blurs like morning mist. In Hessdalen, that turning point came in the early 1980s, when the frozen valley became the stage for the most spectacular light shows ever witnessed. No longer gossip around the winter fire. No longer whispered stories among old farmers. Now, what was happening in Hessdalen was clearly visible to hundreds of eyes, with a frequency that made people shudder. 2.1. The Reign of Light, when mystery is no longer a night matter. At the end of 1981, the first residents began to notice a strange change in the night sky of Hessdalen. At first, there were only small dots of light, like flickering candles on the horizon. But within a few months, they became bolder, bigger, brighter, moving at speeds and trajectories that no plane or natural phenomenon could imitate. In the middle of the cold winter nights, floating orbs of light, glowing like fiery spirits, appeared every night, sometimes dozens of times. People could stand in the middle of a snowy field, look up and see white, yellow, red, even green halos slowly drifting past their heads, emitting an eerie, cold, and almost intelligent light. And most amazing thing of all, there were more than just floating dots. There were long, cylindrical objects, glowing fiercely, that shot across the sky and disappeared in the blink of an eye. There were laser-like rays of light that cut through the night, leaving streaks of light that lasted for minutes before disappearing. There were even streaks of light that changed shape as they traveled, from circles to water drops, from water drops to triangles, as if they were probing the world below. 2.2. The First Witnesses, Memories from the Land of Light. Erling Strand, an electronics engineer and one of the pioneering researchers later on, once said, "You didn't have to wait long to see something strange in Hessdalen in those years. Just stand outside for a few hours, and the probability of witnessing an unusual light was almost 100%. Farmers, hunters, students, even travelers who happened to pass by. Everyone had their own stories." The story of Ola and Ingrid, January 1982. Ola, a middle-aged farmer, and his wife Ingrid were driving home on a snowy road through a valley. Suddenly, they saw a blue-white sphere of light about the size of a car hovering in front of them, only about 50 meters away. The light was not blinding, but rather a soft halo, almost touchable. In a panic, Ola slowed down. The sphere of light drifted silently across the front of the car, flew back up the hill, and disappeared, leaving no trace. Remarkably, the car radio suddenly became severely distorted at the moment the light appeared, and the car engine also had a slight problem for a few minutes afterwards. Hessdalen School Students, February 1982. A group of secondary school students, while on a field trip, witnessed with their own eyes a bright orange-red ball the size of a basketball, slowly flying only about 10 meters above the ground. The strange thing was that the light seemed to recognize their presence. As the students moved toward the ball, it suddenly accelerated and flew further away, as if teasing them. Hunter Sven Odegaard, March 1982. While hunting deer one night, Sven saw a bright cylindrical object about 5 to 6 meters long, emitting a brilliant golden light. It moved completely silently at an unusually fast speed, and left a faint trail of light in the air. According to Sven, there was no engine noise, wind noise, or any other natural sound accompanying it. 2.3. Light forms, when shape is also a mystery. Witnesses describe the Hessdalen Lights as coming in many different forms. Based on records collected between 1981 to 1984, they could be classified as follows. Round balls of light, white, yellow, red, or blue, moving slowly, often hovering near the ground or in the middle of a valley. Teardrops, trails of light, moving faster, often leaving a faint trail of light in the air. Cylinders, cubes, extremely bright, can travel in straight lines or in curves. Spots or flashes, single beams, shooting across the sky like giant lasers. Some lights change color as they fly. For example, from white to red, from red to green, as if they were transforming in midair. There are also phenomena of light flashing rhythmically, like Morse code signals, which many people suspect may be some form of communication. 2.4. Strange characteristics of the Hessdalen Lights. Not only the shape, the physical characteristics of the light also confuse researchers. Unusual speed of movement. Some lights float slowly, while others can suddenly accelerate to hundreds of kilometers per hour in just a few seconds, without the explosive noise of a supersonic plane. Duration. Some flashes last for a few seconds, but others last for more than an hour. No heat. According to witnesses standing nearby, the lights do not emit heat, even when they are only a few dozen meters away. Effects on electronic devices, radios, TVs, cameras, and even cars are disturbed or temporarily stop working when the lights appear nearby. These phenomena challenge all conventional physical models of electromagnetism, plasma, and even biology. 2.5. Wave of international attention. In just 3 years, 1981 to 1984, Hessdalen recorded hundreds of strange light phenomena. Not only locals, but also scientists, UFO researchers, and paranormal groups began to flock here. The Norwegian press continuously reported on the ghost lights of Hessdalen. International scientific journals also began to discuss them, albeit with cautious skepticism. An atmosphere of excitement and chill pervaded the valley. Hessdalen was no longer a forgotten land. It had become one of the most mysterious places on the planet, a real hot spot for those who longed to confront the unexplained. And when the light wave reached its peak, the first scientific minds decided that it was time to conduct a serious investigation. The adventure to find the answer began. And the answer, as we shall see, will make the story even more unbelievable than ever. Milky Way Part 3. Pioneer Investigations. Project Hessdalen. When a mystery becomes too big to ignore, people are forced to investigate. And in Hessdalen, curiosity no longer stops at staring at the night sky. It is armed with telescopes, infrared cameras, radar, and the most advanced measuring equipment of the time. The hunt for answers begins. But the deeper one goes, the more one understands, the more one feels like one is entering a mysterious maze, where each new question leads to a series of greater mysteries. 3.1. The Hessdalen Project was born in 1983. When the light wave was still showing no signs of cooling down, a small group of scientists, engineers, and enthusiasts decided that it was necessary to collect data systematically. At the forefront of this group was Erling Strand, a young electronics engineer from Norway. Strand was not a fanatical UFO hunter. He was a practical man, passionate about science, and believed in the power of objective evidence. With the support of the Norwegian UFO Research Society, NUFOC, and the collaboration of several independent scientific organizations, the Hessdalen Project was officially born. The initial goal was clear: set up permanent observation stations in the valley, record as many light phenomena as possible, collect a variety of data, images, radar, magnetic fields, radio waves, etc. Analysis to understand the physical nature of the phenomenon. This was a bold move. For the first time, a phenomenon that was considered supernatural was approached according to modern scientific methods. 3.2. Winter Campaign 1984, an experiment in the paranormal. From January 21st to February 26th, 1984, a group of about 40 scientists, technicians, and students camped in the Hessdalen Valley. They brought with them an impressive arsenal of equipment, including specialized video cameras, SLR cameras with telephoto lenses, air traffic radar, magnetometers, radio frequency recorders, electromagnetic radiation measuring devices. They set up two main observation stations, one in the north and one in the south of the valley, and organized mobile patrols to increase the likelihood of recording unexpected phenomena. Every night, researchers stayed up in sub-zero temperatures, glued to radar screens, infrared binoculars, and electronic sensors, waiting for the arrival of light visitors. 3.3 Shocking results. The 1984 campaign did not disappoint its participants. On the contrary, it yielded a treasure trove of data, proving that what was happening in Hessdalen was indeed real. Notable results. 53 light phenomena were recorded live over 5 weeks, an astonishing number. The radar detected objects moving at speeds of up to 8,500 meters per second, more than 30,000 kilometers per hour, without creating loud sound waves or bursts due to exceeding the speed of sound. The camera recorded the balls of light changing shape as they flew, from round to oval, from oval to distorted ellipse. Unusual radio waves were recorded simultaneously with the appearance of the light, at frequencies that did not belong to any commercial or military signals. The magnetic field fluctuated strongly in the area where the light appeared. These data cannot be easily dismissed. They indicate that this is not a hallucination, not due to the climate, nor can it be a joke or a conventional military device. 3.4. Some typical cases in the 1984 campaign. The night of February 4th, 1984, the Northern Station radar detected an unidentified object hovering at an altitude of about 1,200 meters with a speed of nearly zero. Suddenly, the object accelerated to a maximum speed of 8,500 meters per second in less than 2 seconds, flying out of radar range without causing any explosion. Night of February 9th, 1984. The patrol team recorded a white ball of light the size of a minibus, hovering over a snow-covered field. The light breathed, blinking in a slow rhythm like a living creature. As the patrol team approached, the ball of light contracted, then disappeared as if dissolving into the air. Night of February 15th, 1984. Electromagnetic measuring equipment detected an extremely unusual electrical storm in a particular area, followed shortly by the appearance of 3 blue balls of light floating in parallel, before disappearing into the woods. 3.5. The big questions that emerged. Researchers, faced with such a massive pile of data, were faced with challenging questions. Why do bright objects move at extraordinary speeds without causing any physical effects such as sound waves? What is the nature of light? Natural plasma? Electromagnetic phenomena? Or something beyond our current understanding? Why are the phenomena concentrated in Hessdalen and not elsewhere? Is there something special about the underground, the geology, the magnetic field here? Do the unusual magnetic and radio wave variations suggest that there is intelligence behind these phenomena? And most importantly, are we witnessing an unknown form of life or technology? 3.6. The Hessdalen Project continues the hunt in the new century. After Operation 1984, the Hessdalen Project did not stop. In the following years, semi-automatic observation stations were installed. An automated camera system, called the Hessdalen AMS, Automatic Measurement Station, was built in 1998 to continuously record any phenomena. Although the frequency of light has decreased compared to the 1980s, the Hessdalen phenomenon continues to be recorded about 10 to 20 times a year, and the data collected to this day continues to be full of unanswered questions. Hessdalen has become a symbol, not only of mystery, but also of the relentless human effort to face the unknown. And like a whisper from the depths of the universe, those ghostly flames still silently provoke us. Are you ready to understand what is beyond understanding? Milky Way Part 4: Scientific Theories and Unsolved Mysteries. After arduous research campaigns, Hessdalen suddenly became a giant laboratory under the night sky, where scientists could test the most daring hypotheses. But like cosmic mysteries, the more data is collected, the more far away the answers become. Many hypotheses have been put forward to explain the ghostly fire of Hessdalen. Some are based on pure science. Others drift into areas where the boundary between reality and fantasy becomes fragile. Let's step into that world, where truth and mystery intersect. 4.1. The Natural Plasma Hypothesis. One of the earliest and most popular scientific hypotheses is that, back in index pointing right, the Hessdalen phenomenon may be a form of natural plasma. Plasma, the fourth state of matter, is a collection of free charge particles, usually formed when a gas is highly ionized. The most familiar examples of plasma are lightning, the sun, stars. But at Hessdalen, researchers, including Dr. Massimo Tittarani and colleagues, have proposed that underground mineral crystals, such as silicon, iron, zinc, when subjected to special geological pressures, may generate electric currents and electromagnetic radiation. Combined with high humidity in the air and cold weather conditions, these may form plasma balls. This could explain the dynamic shape, the irregular glow, the ability to hover near the ground. However, there are still major gaps. Ordinary plasmas dissipate quickly, while the Hessdalen light balls last a very long time, sometimes up to more than an hour. Some objects move extremely fast, at speeds that are inconsistent with the movement of natural plasma. Many cases of light emit radio signals, something that is difficult for normal plasma to produce. Natural plasmas can explain part of it, but certainly not all of it. 4.2. The hypothesis of geochemical reactions. Another branch of geophysics has put forward an interesting theory. Back in index pointing right, the Hessdalen Lights could be the result of chemical reactions underground. The Hessdalen Valley has large amounts of sulfur and zinc underground. Some geochemists believe that reactions between mineral-rich groundwater and special rock layers can produce flammable gases, such as hydrogen sulfide or phosphine. When these gases escape to the surface, they can spontaneously ignite in cold, oxygen-rich air, creating floating balls of light. This sounds plausible. It could explain the distinctive orange-yellow glow, the appearance near the ground, the erratic birth and death properties. But again, this theory cannot explain the extremely fast movement of some objects. Radar picks up solid signals such as metal objects, not hot gas, anomalous radio waves, and magnetic fields. Once again, science is facing a wall of incomprehension. 4.3. Ball lightning hypothesis. A strange phenomenon that is proven in physics. Ball lightning, balls of light floating after thunderstorms. Ball lightning has very similar characteristics to Hessdalen lights. Round, floating, emitting light, can last from a few seconds to a few minutes. However, there is an important difference. Ball lightning usually appears only immediately after thunder. In Hessdalen, the light appears without a storm. The duration of Hessdalen fire is much longer than that of ball lightning. Could Hessdalen be an extremely rare, previously unknown variation of ball lightning? If so, it also means that we have found a completely new physical phenomenon on Earth. 4.4. Theories of extraterrestrial technology. And then we reach the most taboo territory of science, the hypothesis of extraterrestrial intelligence. Some strange features that UFO researchers cannot help but notice. Radar records solid objects moving at extremely high speeds and with the ability to change direction illogically. Unusual radio waves emitted at the same time as the light phenomenon on non-commercial, non-military frequencies. Some witnesses describe small laser beams scanning the ground, as if searching or analyzing something. Many of the light phenomena are symmetrical in shape, regular in size, not like natural phenomena. Could it be a theory whispers in the dark? Hessdalen is a scientific probe of an alien civilization, silently observing the Earth. This may sound like science fiction, but the universe is so vast that it's almost certain that there's more than just humans. If there really is someone, or something, out there, why not start looking in a remote place like Hessdalen, where humans rarely pay attention? For point 5, other, less popular theories. Aside from the main theories, there are some other more bizarre ideas. Interaction between natural electromagnetic fields and the human mind. There's a theory that the Hessdalen Lights are related to unto-spiritual energy, where human consciousness can pull the light to appear. Small space-time rift. Some daring theoretical physicists have proposed that Hessdalen may lie in an area where the structure of space-time is slightly disturbed, allowing strange energy to leak into our world. Top secret military activity. Some suspect that the Hessdalen phenomenon is the result of testing stealth technology or high-energy weapons by superpowers. However, all of these hypotheses currently lack concrete evidence. For point 6, Hessdalen, the final frontier of mysteries? Although it has been more than 40 years since the first days of the shocking Hessdalen Lights, we still do not have a clear answer. Hessdalen remains one of the greatest mysteries of modern science. It challenges physical understanding, human arrogance, the belief that we understand everything about the world around us. Perhaps Hessdalen are more than just balls of light floating in the night. It is also a humble reminder that there is always something in the universe that is beyond our imagination. Ein Speech Bubble Part 5. Untold Witnesses and Experiences. If the Hessdalen Lights were just a hoax, they would soon be forgotten. But for decades, hundreds of witnesses, from locals, tourists to scientists, have witnessed events that defy all logic. In this part, we will listen to the most mysterious stories, first-hand experiences, even those that make the most hardened people shudder. 5.1. One December night, the pursuit of light. Old Johnny Bren, a longtime resident of Hessdalen, recounts a winter night in 1982. I was driving home, the road winding through the snow. Suddenly, through the windshield, I saw a bright blue ball appear on the top of the hill ahead. At first, I thought it was the headlights of another car, but the ball hovered about 2 meters above the ground, moving parallel to me all the way. The strange thing was, the light kept up with the speed of the car, as if it was following. Despite the change in speed, the light kept its distance. At a bend, the ball accelerated into the sky, leaving a bright trail of light before disappearing. Ole swears he was not drunk or hallucinating, and even his car, which was suffering from electrical interference, had its speedometer jump wildly while the light appeared. 5.2. The student story. The silent night was torn apart. In 1995, a group of students from Unsolved University organized a camping trip in the valley to observe the phenomenon. At around 2 a.m., when the temperature dropped below minus 20 degrees Celsius, they sat around a fire. Suddenly, the sky lit up as if someone had turned on a giant floodlight from above. A witness, Arne Solheim, recalled, "A white ball of light appeared right above us, the size of a bus. It made no sound. Everything around us suddenly became strange. No wind, no animal noises. The whole world seemed to freeze for a moment. After a few minutes, the ball of light slowly shrank and disappeared, leaving a feeling of chilling to the bone, not just because of the weather." 5.3. Stories from researchers when science is helpless. Not only people, many scientists have also witnessed inexplicable phenomena. Dr. Erling Strand, head of the Project Hessdalen group, recounted in an interview, "We installed radar, cameras, thermal sensors, and radio wave recorders. And then, on a normal night, the whole system simultaneously detected an object moving at a speed of up to 8,500 kilometers per hour, changing direction in an instant. The radio waves were unusual. The frequency oscillated irregularly. The camera recorded a ball of light rotating on its axis, emitting a faint blue light. According to Newtonian physics, no object can change direction at such a speed without being destroyed by inertia. This raises a huge question. What technology or creatures are we dealing with in Hessdalen?" 5.4. The mysterious lost time experience. One of the strangest stories comes from Lise Nilsson, a tour guide in Hessdalen. In 2001, she led a small group of tourists up the Brekkafellet Hill to observe the lights. When they started to return, everyone's watches were showing an hour behind the actual time. We were sure that we had only been on the hill for about 45 minutes. But our electronic clocks, our watches, our phones, everything was synchronized to be lost by an hour. No one in the group felt sleepy or noticed the unusual passage of time during the event. Some experts have suggested that strong electromagnetic fields could affect electronic clocks, but the fact that mechanical clocks also deviate is unprecedented. 5.5. Strange descriptions of light shapes. Not all the phenomena in Hessdalen are balls of light. Some witnesses have described more bizarre shapes. Red triangles, suspended 50 meters above the ground, absolutely silent. Strips of light as thin as a thread, but emitting a strong electric current, causing the hair of people standing nearby to stand on end. Light tubes, hundreds of meters long, suspended like pillars in the air. Giant black shadows, not glowing, but blocking out the stars as they move. These shapes do not fit any known natural phenomenon. It is reminiscent of UFOs in military reports around the world. 5.6. Strange photos. Undeniable evidence. There is no shortage of photos capturing the Hessdalen Lights phenomenon. Some of the most famous ones record. White glowing spheres surrounded by a pale blue halo. Zigzagging streaks of light flying like dragons in the night sky. Unnaturally curved streaks of light, like objects controlling the direction of flight. In particular, multispectral cameras that capture multiple wavelengths of light, have also recorded. Some of the Hessdalen Lights emit temperatures lower than the surrounding environment, brother. That makes no sense because every conventional light source generates heat. 5.7. When silence is the scariest answer. In recent years, many international research teams have visited Hessdalen, but not all the data they collected has been published. It is rumored that some reports have been kept secret by defense agencies, especially after radar recorded unidentified flying objects with characteristics superior to current human technology. Are there things they have discovered but dare not speak out? Is it possible that behind the enchanting beauty of the Hessdalen Lights, there's a truth more terrifying than imagined? Scroll summary of Part 5. Hundreds of witnesses, from civilians to scientists, have experienced the Hessdalen Lights. Phenomena include tracking lights, time loss, electrical interference, radar tracking of hyperspeed objects, strange light shapes. Some of the data has never been made public, fueling suspicions about hidden mysteries. Adult Microscope Part 6. Modern research in the Hessdalen Observatory Project. Although it has been more than 40 years since the Hessdalen Lights first attracted the attention of the scientific community, the story of the bright orbs is still not over. In fact, it has become more complicated and profound as more and more research is conducted to decode this mystery. One of the biggest efforts in finding an explanation for this phenomenon is the Hessdalen Observatory Project, a modern scientific research project initiated by an international team of scientists. But are we really close to the answer, or are we still lost in endless hypotheses? 6.1. Hessdalen Observatory Project. Started out of curiosity. The project was established in the late 1990s, when the light phenomena in Hessdalen continued to appear inexplicably. The main reason for starting research here was the combination of the continuous appearance of the lights and reports from witnesses. International scientists realized that they could not simply ignore this strange evidence. With the goal of recording, analyzing, and better understanding the nature of the phenomena, the most modern equipment was deployed. The project is supported by researchers from many different countries, from Norway, the United States, Italy, to Sweden. One of the highlights of this project is the Hessdalen Observatory, a research station located right in the heart of the valley where the phenomena often occur. From here, researchers can monitor and record any phenomena that appear in the sky. 6.2. equipment, and technology used. To find the answer, Hessdalen Observatory used a range of advanced equipment, including special radar, used to track the movement of unidentified flying objects. These radars can determine the location, velocity, and shape of objects of unknown origin. Multispectral cameras. These cameras not only record conventional images, but can also record radio emissions, temperature, and infrared rays. This helps researchers understand important parameters of these phenomena, such as brightness, surface temperature, and their changes over time. Radio wave recorder. An important device that records strange radio signals emitted during the phenomenon. These signals often have frequencies that are unlike any other radio waves in the normal range. Magnetic and electric field sensors. These are used to measure changes in the magnetic and electric fields in the area, helping to determine if there is a strange energy source present. Along with these tools, researchers also use computers and algorithms to analyze and compare the collected data, thereby drawing conclusions about the nature of the Hessdalen Lights. 6.3. Initial findings and results. After years of collecting data, scientists have begun to notice some recurring patterns in the light phenomena at Hessdalen. Although the phenomenon is difficult to predict, there are some common features that researchers have identified. Cyclic orbs. The light phenomena tend to appear at certain times of the year, usually in winter and spring. This suggests that there may be a connection to the climate or geological activity in the area. Unusual movement characteristics. The balls of light move in trajectories that cannot be explained by conventional objects. The object can change direction suddenly, change speed, and can stop suddenly without encountering any resistance. Unusual temperature changes. Infrared cameras have recorded that the temperature around the balls of light is usually no higher than the surrounding environment. And in some cases, light can be emitted without causing a temperature increase. Unidentified radio signals. In some cases, the recorded radio signals have frequencies that do not match any known devices, creating a major question about their origin. These findings further complicate the question: why do the balls of light move in such strange ways? Are they related to geological activity or an undiscovered form of energy? 6.4. New hypothesis from research. Is there a link to seismic phenomena? One of the interesting recent findings in research is the possible link between the Hessdalen Lights and small seismic phenomena in the area. Researchers have found that in some cases, the bright orbs seem to appear right before or after small earthquakes, less than 3.0 on the Richter scale. This has led some experts in the field of geology to hypothesize: could movements in the Earth's crust create the right conditions for the formation of these orbs? This plasma ball? It is also hypothesized that changes in the Earth's magnetic field, possibly related to seismic activity, create electromagnetic effects in the atmosphere, which in turn cause the formation of plasma. While this is an interesting hypothesis, no research has been able to definitively prove this connection. 6.5. Unanswered questions. Despite much progress in research, the Hessdalen Observatory has yet to provide satisfactory answers to all the questions surrounding this strange light phenomenon. Some of the big questions that remain unanswered are: what is the exact origin of these glowing balls? How can they change speed and direction without encountering any resistance? Why doesn't the light produce high temperatures or thermal effects like conventional light sources? Is there a connection between the light spheres and geological or magnetic phenomena? Although science has come a long way, we still have a long way to go before we can fully unravel the mystery of Hessdalen. 6.6. The future of research at Hessdalen. Research at Hessdalen continues to expand. Scientists are working tirelessly to reach more precise conclusions. The Hessdalen Observatory project continues to attract the attention of international research organizations and is likely to expand into new areas of research, including quantum physics technology, to explain the inexplicable movements and changes of the light spheres; electromagnetic technology, to study the interaction between natural phenomena and the Earth's magnetic field; space science, find out if there might be a connection between this phenomenon and radio signals from space. Scroll Part 6 Summary. The Hessdalen Observatory project has been Crystal Ball Part 7. theories about the origin of the Hessdalen Lights. After listening to the strange stories and the results of scientific research, what we cannot ignore is finding an answer to the eternal question: where do the Hessdalen Lights come from? In this part, we will delve into the most likely theories to explain the origin of these light phenomena. Although no theory has been completely proven, each theory opens new doors about science, the universe, and even our existence. Let's explore these curious and mysterious theories. 7.1. Plasma Hypothesis. Life from electrostatic energy. One of the oldest and most supported hypotheses by researchers is the plasma hypothesis. Plasma is the fourth state of matter, after solid, liquid, and gas, and is formed when gas is heated to the point where electrons are stripped from its atoms, forming electrically charged ions. Plasma and the Hessdalen Lights. The Hessdalen Lights may be a form of plasma, formed by electromagnetic interactions between elements in the atmosphere and underground. According to researchers, the Hessdalen area may have special conditions that create plasma in the atmosphere, causing the glowing spheres to appear. Electrostatic energy may be produced by interactions between cold air and the ionized atmosphere in the area. Underground materials, such as limestone, when exposed to atmospheric elements, can undergo chemical reactions, creating a powerful source of energy, forming plasma. It is worth noting that plasma can glow without a heat source like normal light, which explains why the Hessdalen light balls do not generate high temperatures like normal light sources. 7.2. Natural hypothesis. Geological and meteorological activity. Another hypothesis to explain the Hessdalen light phenomenon is geological activity combined with meteorological factors. The area is known for its strong geological activity, including small earthquakes and unusual magnetic phenomena. Geological and atmospheric interactions. Some experts believe that mild seismic activity can stimulate chemical reactions in the Earth's interior, creating gases that glow when exposed to air. These reactions could explain the appearance of the light balls, even without a specific energy source. Mineral deposits and gases in the area may be an important factor in the formation of the lights, as they react with gases in the atmosphere, such as methane or ammonia. Lightning and electromagnetic waves in the atmosphere can excite these gases, creating strange glowing effects like balls of light flying through space. In particular, the mountainous terrain and the presence of special minerals in the soil can also create natural reflection or glowing phenomena, partly explaining the mystery of the lights at Hessdalen. 7.3. UFO hypothesis and extraterrestrial origin. One of the most exciting hypotheses that many people think of when mentioning the Hessdalen Lights is that they are extraterrestrial in origin. Many reports have described the lights at Hessdalen as having characteristics similar to UFO phenomena recorded around the world. Lights as a sign of space exploration. This theory is based on the assumption that the glowing orbs are not natural phenomena, but may be signs of extraterrestrial beings or technology. UFO researchers have suggested that these phenomena may be extraterrestrial spacecraft or probes, peacefully testing or learning about our planet. Some arguments supporting this theory are the speed of movement and the change in direction of the Hessdalen Lights, which cannot be explained by conventional physics. Strange connections with other UFO phenomena have been reported around the world, especially in areas where similar glowing phenomena occur. Warnings from eyewitness reports have stated that when they saw the glowing orbs, they felt watched or had a very strange feeling. Although there is no concrete evidence that the Hessdalen Lights are related to UFOs, this hypothesis still attracts the attention of many people. 7.4. Geomagnetic hypothesis. Interaction between magnetic field and atmosphere. One of the other notable scientific hypotheses is the interaction between the Earth's magnetic field and the atmosphere. The Hessdalen area is located near the Earth's magnetic field, where there may be strong changes in our planet's magnetic grid. The theory of magnetic anomalies. Some scientists believe that changes in the Earth's magnetic field can create a strong electromagnetic excitation in the atmosphere, leading to the formation of plasma and causing the light phenomenon. These can be ions or charged particles interacting with each other, and creating bright balls. In particular, this can create a change in the natural electromagnetic current, causing strange luminous phenomena that cannot be explained in the usual way. 7.5. The natural process hypothesis, stimulation by radioactivity. The last hypothesis we will mention is about the stimulation of light by radioactive rays. In some cases, the presence of radiation in the environment can cause gases in the air to glow, leading to the phenomenon of natural light. In particular, some radioactive substances in the soil, such as radon or uranium, when stimulated can create strong ionization reactions in the atmosphere, forming plasma and emitting light. 7.6. The future of these theories. Although the above hypotheses are all feasible and interesting, the answer to the Hessdalen light phenomenon is still a big mystery. Each theory opens up potential possibilities, but more in-depth research is needed to determine which one is correct. Scroll Part 7 Summary. Theories about the origin of the Hessdalen lights include plasma, geological activity, UFOs, magnetic fields, and radioactivity. Each theory offers answers that may explain the phenomenon, but there are also pieces of the puzzle that remain unexplained. There is still so much to explore and study, and the final answer may completely change our understanding of the world around us. Milky Way Part 8. Final conclusions and unexpected theories. With curiosity, excitement, and a little bit of expectation, we have been on a long journey to explore the Hessdalen lights, mysterious glowing orbs, and their existence in the mysterious land of northern Norway. Each step forward in our research has given us the feeling that we are on the verge of great discoveries, but there are also many questions that have not been satisfactorily answered. So, in the end, what do we understand about this phenomenon? Have we really found the exact cause, or are we just getting closer to an answer that is still not yet reached? In this section, we will summarize everything we have discovered and also propose unexplored hypotheses, dark areas of this phenomenon that may be solved in the future. Highlights of research. Hessdalen remains one of the most mysterious natural phenomena in the world. Thanks to a combination of unusual phenomena, modern science and technology, and strange hypotheses. Modern research has given us a deeper insight into the periodic appearance of the lights, the changes in their motion characteristics, and the connections with meteorological and seismic factors. The Hessdalen Observatory Project has provided a wealth of valuable data, helping us understand that bright orbs can appear under special atmospheric and geological conditions. Scientific hypotheses, including theories of plasma, seismic interactions, and magnetic fields, have opened up new avenues to explain the origin of the light. However, the truth is still not entirely clear. Nevertheless, each step of research confirms one thing. The Hessdalen light is not a common phenomenon. This continues to pique our curiosity and motivates research to delve deeper into the strange corners of the universe. Research challenges. Despite many efforts to decipher the mystery of the Hessdalen light, there are still many challenges for scientists. Difficulty in reproducing the phenomenon. One of the biggest problems for researchers is the inability to predict exactly when and where the light will appear. Despite predictive models, the phenomenon remains elusive, making observation and data collection challenging. Lack of evidence and clear evidence. Although there is a lot of indirect evidence for the existence of light, there is still no strong scientific evidence to confirm which theory is correct. Researchers continue to search for answers from many different perspectives, but the ambiguity of this phenomenon makes confirmation even more difficult. Environmental changes, climate change, and geological changes can affect the formation of light, changing both observations and research methods. This makes the question of the origin of light even more difficult to answer. Unexplored hypotheses. As we have seen in the previous sections, the hypotheses of plasma, seismic activity, magnetic fields, and UFOs have all been mentioned and studied. However, there are still many hypotheses that have not been explored and discussed extensively. These hypotheses open up new research directions that may be breakthroughs in the future. Hypothesis of anomalous energy zones. There's an intriguing but little-known hypothesis that the Hessdalen region may have an anomalous energy zone that cannot be explained by current science. Some researchers believe that the appearance of the lights may be related to a special land where natural electromagnetic energy does not obey the normal laws of physics. This may cause atmospheric elements such as ions, electrons, and plasma to emit light without an external energy source. These anomalous energies may be the cause of the unusual appearance of the lights. Hypothesis related to supernatural entities. Although it may seem unbelievable, in many cultures, these mysterious light phenomena are often associated with supernatural entities or mystical elements. Some believe that the Hessdalen Lights may be a sign of the existence of extraterrestrial beings or technology. These theories suggest that the lights may be probes or observations of entities that are different in time and space, similar to the common UFO phenomena. Parallel worlds hypothesis. Another highly mystical hypothesis is the existence of parallel worlds. In some cases, the Hessdalen Lights may be the result of interdimensional interference. According to this theory, we live in a multidimensional universe, where these phenomena may be the temporary presence of beings or objects from other dimensions. The bright orbs may be a sign of a space-time gap or an invisible gap between parallel worlds where matter and energy can interact. Undiscovered exoplanetary technology hypothesis. There are UFO researchers who believe that the Hessdalen Lights are not a natural phenomenon, but rather a test or discovery of technology from an extraterrestrial civilization. The bright orbs may be the result of technological tests from spacecraft or probes that are not from Earth. The mysteriousness of the light's motion and repeating pattern has made these theories increasingly popular. Final conclusion. After a long journey with dramatic discoveries, the Hessdalen Light phenomenon still stands as an unsolved mystery. Each hypothesis opens a new door, but there is no shortage of unanswered questions. The results obtained from the Hessdalen Observatory Project and scientific studies all show that this phenomenon is not simply a natural anomaly, but maybe the intersection of many factors from geology, atmosphere, and even the universe. This makes the Hessdalen Light a mysterious symbol, not only in the scientific community, but also in the world of mystical stories. Perhaps in the future, new research and technology will help us find answers to these questions. Or who knows, the Hessdalen Light will remain an unsolved mystery, inspiring endless curiosity for humanity. Shooting star the end of the journey to explore the Hessdalen Light. Hope you had an interesting and mysterious journey of discovery with the Hessdalen Light, where science and mystery meet in strange rays of light. Thank you for accompanying us throughout these parts.